Primos y primas, queloque, welcome, bienvenidos to the Dear God Are We There Yet, the podcast con tu prima favorita. Soy Alicia Sanchez, and yes, this podcast is bilingual, empowering social good one conversation at a time, sharing weekly insights and inspirations from people adding their magic to make this world a better place. Whether you want to learn more about volunteer travel, being more socially conscious, or you love a good conversation that breaks down barriers while evoking pasión and emoción, this is the podcast for you. Grab a cafecito y vamos a hablar. Primas y primos, queloque. Oh, wow. Another episode. I haven't actually done an episode by myself in such a long time, like a solo episode. We've been having some amazing guests on the podcast. I'm telling you, like from authors and healers and just, oh my gosh, and health gurus. And I don't even like to say the word health guru because I don't know why I don't like to say that word, but we've just been having a lot of magic on our podcast. And that's the whole point of season 3. The point of season 3 was to have people on the podcast that can, just showcase and share their magic to the world, because we're all doing something. We might not realize it, pero nosotros estamos haciendo algo. Puede ser algo bien chiquito, bien pequeño. I mean, even something so small can really make a difference, and that is what is a part of your magic. So I've just been so excited, and I actually am working on a really, 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 really amazing, all my guests are amazing, but this one really stood out to me, and I am trying to get them booked on the show so that they can really share the magic and the influence they are doing, the positive and impact influence they are doing to the community and to and the world. And so yeah, I will let you know when that is about. But I want to talk about today's podcast. I want to talk about your magic, tu magia. We all have a magic. I want to talk about that magic, and I want to talk about Dear God, Are We There Yet? And social impact and social consciousness, in the sense, are we asking ourselves our questions of, of what does that mean to us, and what does life mean to us? The past couple weeks and the whole year so far has been just a roller coaster, and we all know that, not just because of COVID, but a really important and special person to me in the branding community passed away. Rest in peace to Cece. And it hit me so hard when I found out that she passed away, because she was spreading her magic to the world. She was spreading her journey and her vision and her insane power and love of helping other women and other businesses, especially women of color, para hacer su negocio y apoyarla. Like, she was such a breath of fresh air. And it's funny because I remember when she first started, when she left her $20,000 a year, her job, and actually at that time she was on Instagram and she was promoting healthy foods and juices, and I came across her through a hashtag, and it was like hashtag like cancer sucks or something like that. It was so long ago, and I just said to myself, like, wow, this girl is transforming. She is taking what the society says that you cannot do, or it's so hard, or all these buts, ifs, and she took them and she turned around and she's like, no, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is no one's gonna stop me. And Cece built an empire, 6-figure empire, and helping other people. I used to send clients to her because she was like the social media maven when it comes to bringing that. And I'm so old school. I still struggle sometimes, but thank God I have people that I can help me with certain things. But I even bought her courses and coached with her, and oh my gosh, just amazing. So that hit hard for me. It really did hit hard. And then we lost another amazing, he wasn't just an actor, and he wasn't just, Wakanda Forever. Yes, we'll know him for that, but he has so many roles, and he was such a breath of fresh air in entertainment and in the industry, just amazing, beautiful person. And you never really heard anything about him, like, de escándalo or nothing like that. You never heard of that stuff because he was so focused, and he was also struggling with cancer as well. And so many people that have passed during this time, not just with cancer, but with COVID, and it just sat so heavy with me in the sense of, what do I do with this heaviness? How do I continue, bringing my magic to inspire people, or even my own self? Like, I want to talk today. Yo quiero hablar. Vamos a hablar. Like, I just want to come on the podcast today as a solo episode because I feel like this heaviness has taken all of us, and there's certain bits of it that will affect us more. Taking my daughter to the park, and we have to catch the times when nobody's there because we're so social distancing, and then seeing her as we are about to leave, or we see another child coming, and how she's just gravitating to them naturally and just beautifully, and you're just you're really struggling with yourself, and all this thickness and this heaviness of it's not just corona. It's not just these illnesses that have always existed. It's not immigration that tugs at you because, my parents were immigrants, and it's not just the politics that are, just making people sleep, just keeping them sleep. And then the ones that say they're woke, it's but you're understanding what you're doing, right? I mean, it's just a lot of different things that this weighs on us. And how do we make our magic shine through all the heavy thickness? And it's hard. I don't have the answers. I'm not even going to come on este podcast hoy y decirte, yo tengo todo uno, número 1, número 2, número 3. I don't have that. I don't think any of us has it, because every day it changes, and every day something different affects us in a way that it becomes much more heavy, and the thickness just rises and rises. And during a time where there is so much isolation, and we are all in quarantine, and some of us are not, and we're there the hell with this, I'm gonna go live my life. And you know what? I don't blame you either. I don't blame people that want to quarantine because we're doing that. And then I don't blame the people who are I'm done with this. I don't blame you, because you have the right to release that thickness in that's on top of you, that of whatever it is. And it's just added on. So with the news of Cece, and I will make sure I put all her links below so you guys can check out this amazing, and her legacy's definitely lived on to help women, and just not just women, and people of color, but everyone. And she's really standed by what she believes in, and in business and branding and social media. So transparent, so raw, sharing you her numbers, sharing you her finances, sharing you her downsides. I mean, she would be at the hospital messaging, on Instagram saying, this is why it's so important to have passive income, and some people will be rubbed the wrong way, oh, she just wants to be this rich. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be financially set. If you want to call it rich, or if you want to call it whatever you want to call it, there's nothing wrong with being financially set. Okay, that is your magic. That's your magic that you're obsessed with, and it's not even obsessed. It's probably your passion. And all this thickness comes on us so heavy. And then we have society and our friends and our family or significant others or whoever in our ears putting these little darts and you got to ask yourself, this is my magic, and I'm going to push through this, because it's through this that's going to show other people that magic exists. And this is the reason why I have the Dear God Are We There Yet community. I swear I never knew where this was going to go. I never knew where Dear God Are We There Yet was going to even turn into. I just knew I had this vision, and I knew that I had this insane power. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt that you have this this energy when you talk about something, or when you're feeling it or you're thinking it, and this energy pours out of you and emotions come out. It doesn't have to be crying or laughter. It could just be an emotion and you feel like butterflies. That is your magic, and your magic could be being the best father. I was watching the show. I was watching this thing to get my mind off of I think it was called Skin Wars or whatever. And the father said, I do everything for my son. Like, this is my art. I was always an artist, but now everything I do, that energy comes through him, es para su hijo. And I love that. I was like, yes, you are an artist, but what's igniting that force is your son. So, and that is your magic, because your son is like la gasolina. And I just felt, every time I watch something or I see something, and every time I feel this type of heaviness, I say to myself, dear God, are we there yet? And people laugh, okay, yo piensan, dear God, are we there yet? What are you trying to say? Like, oh, is this over with? No. It's the complete opposite. Are we there yet? Are we there yet in accepting this thickness and these emotions and saying, I am going to fight through with my magic. I am going to do what I can to educate myself, to heal myself, to grow within myself, to empower myself. And loving yourself does not make you selfish. Loving yourself and taking care of what you need doesn't make you a narcissist. It doesn't make you any of that. And I want to remind everyone listening to my podcast, because I appreciate you. I love you so much. You have no idea. When I get my stats every single week, and I have a SEO, and a guy who does our SEO, and he's just awesome. And he gets happy and he'll send me something and he'll be like, oh, look at this, and look where your people are listening. And I just get so happy, because it's not the fact that people are listening. It's like, wow, the message of social consciousness, social impact, helping other people through volunteering, through embedding these amazing characteristics in your children and how we raise our children, the way we're thinking differently with educators and students, and empowering them to think differently outside of the norms of the educational system that has us trapped and handcuffs at times, and for us, people who love to travel and want to do something different with that and want to grow with that. And I am going on and on, because this is magic. Esta es la magia que yo estoy hablando. When you pick up the phone and you're calling someone and say, I'm thinking about you and I hope you're doing okay, that is your magic. You're not waiting until they get sick. You're not waiting until somebody says, I need you. You're saying, no, I need you. I need you, because I need you to know how much I care about you and how much your magic is powerful in my life. And I need you to know that I care about you right now in this lifetime. And I know I'm going all in this podcast this week. I told you. But the thickness and the heaviness had to come over me, because we say it. I say all the time, live your life. Drake says it, YOLO. You only live once. Listen, Linda, listen. We only live once in this lifetime. Right now, you in this body, and you in this consciousness, and you in this moment. And you gotta make the best of life, because if you don't make the best of life, life will make the best of you. And what I mean by that is that you are not going to, you're going to be stuck, and all this thickness is just going to pile on. And so it's like so heavy. And I kept asking myself, what is the magic that we all have to bring? And every time I have a volunteer create a profile, which, by the way, if you have not created a profile, it doesn't matter. You don't need to volunteer every day. You don't need to do all that. Create a profile, though, and do 1 or 2 volunteering things. It takes like an hour, 30 minutos. It doesn't take long time. But when somebody creates a profile on the Dear God, Are We There Yet, the community, we have to approve them, and I specifically go in there and I approve every single person. And the reason why is I'm going to make sure que no hay no robots and stuff and coming in and messing up our community. Yes, we're very old school yet, maybe in the future, but I like to keep it as personable like that. And I see people's purpose of why they want to volunteer and the reason why it's important to them. And my heart says, Alicia, this is the magic. Bringing other people's magic of how they want to help other people. And, they always say, and now when I say they always say, I'm saying that the world and society always says that, like, well, you should help yourself before you help other people. Let me tell you something. It's sometimes through you helping other people that you are helping yourself. And I'm going to say this again. Write it down, escríbelo, tweet it, whatever, Instagram, DM, lo que sea. When you help other people, you're opening yourself, you're opening a door, a window, and now you're seeing yourself and you are helping yourself. Just the other day I was at the park and and this lady was sharing with me just candidly out of nowhere about her fibroids and about doing a hysterectomy. And I gave her my best advice and I said, ask your doctors for choices. Just ask. That's my only advice, is ask them for choices. And just putting that in her ear made me realize, Alicia, there's choices. It doesn't have to be about medicine. It doesn't have to be about medical. Me giving her that advice and me telling her that was an open window in my mind that said, you have choices in life to let this thickness pile on or to run and feel your feelings, feel your emotions. Don't let them consume you and keep bringing your magic and keep sharing your magic and keep sharing other people's magic. And that was the message I needed at the time. Every time I have a guest on this podcast, si usted no me conocen, I'm always like a kikiki y hablando con ellos, and I'm like, I always ask them at the end, like, what is your superwoman power? Superman power, lo que sea. That, when I ask them that and they tell me, I start to think and I say, wow, that is an amazing superpower. And I start to dissect it. Why would they say that? Why? That's how they live their life. And I start to think, and it's just like when you read a book and you say, take things for you. And so when you help other people, you are helping yourself, because now you are not just about yourself. And, you don't have to be perfect to help other people. You don't have to have your life all together. You don't have to be perfect in a perfect home and a perfect this and a perfect that to help other people. You don't have to have the perfect job and the perfect salary and the perfect this, because you do not have to be rich or famous to help people, and you do not have to be privileged in any type of way to understand what other people are going through. So I was trying not to make this podcast super long because I like to keep them within 20 minutes or so. And I wanted to just share this with you guys today about magic and the magic that we bring, and the magic and the purpose of Dear God and all this thickness and this heaviness. And share your magic, whatever that is. And don't let anybody dim your light on that magic. Have your moments. Don't let those moments consume you. Fight through those moments and grow through those moments. And even if you mess up tomorrow, get back up. And when you help someone, trust me, you're helping them, but you're really helping a lot more people. I'm going to leave you with this. My niece, we do volunteering as one of our subjects, and I write this on Instagram. So if you're not following me, go ahead and follow so you can see the journey with the homeschooling. And she said volunteering, and we were doing kids cards for kids that are sick in hospitals and they're going through an illness. And I said to her, do you know that you doing this card is not just going to help one child, it's going to help 5 children? And she said, really? And I said, yeah. And she said, how? I said, well, you're impacting the person you're giving the card to, right? The person, the parents of the child is going to tell another child, they're another person, and they're going to impact them. Those are going to tell another person, and they're going to impact them, and it goes on, and it's like a ripple effect. And she's like, wow. And I said, yes, because even if somebody might not physically give them a card, they might say, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're already spreading the word. that positivity and that time of taking that time and being kind and grateful. And her eyes like just got big, and she was like, oh, that's so nice. And I said, well, you're so nice. And piquing her mind about volunteering and how and she's like, are we going to volunteer? Like, and now she's so ready. And when I tell her about wasting food, and she's like, we don't want to waste food. We want to eat all our food because some people in the world don't have food, or it's really hard to get, or, you know, these things cost money. Like, she's getting it. When I say, oh, we're going to, you know, clean up, so we're going to donate stuff. And she's like, oh, we could give this to my other little cousin, or we can give this to another child. And I say, yep, because now they will be able to play with it. And it makes my heart smile, because I'm going to do the same thing with my daughter. But to see my niece, that she's 8 years old and she's understanding the life cycle of this, it makes me happy. And it makes me happy that she wants to travel and go to China, and she wants to go to California, and she wants to go all these places. I'm like, go girl, yes. Let's learn the whole world so you can get out of Florida and see the world. You know, I encourage that. I encourage them. You know, I encourage her to not be afraid of traveling. And, you know, because some people might not, they say, oh, there's, you know, in China they eat bats or whatever. Like, you could still go to China. Yes, maybe not now, clearly, but, you know, and just embedding these things that are so important in life. But remember, muchísimas gracias for everybody always listening to my podcast. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Share this podcast. Share this magic. And remember, never stop asking questions. You don't have to be rich or famous to help people. Wepa! Thank you for tuning in. Show us your love and join the conversation on one of our redes sociales, social media. Leave a podcast review and be sure to tune in next week. ¿Y qué ahora? What's next? Check out our website and volunteer today. We have so many virtual volunteer opportunities, and remember, you can be a part of the change in a changing world. Hasta la próxima. Besos!